Have you ever felt like you've been walking through darkness for too long, wondering if God still remembers your name? Maybe your heart's been whispering for a sign, for hope, for something to change. If that's you, stay here for a moment, because this is your reminder. You are not forgotten. You are not alone. And what you thought was the end might just be the beginning of your rebirth. You are exactly where you need to be. Maybe you've been wondering why you ended up here, listening to these words at this very moment. Maybe your heart has been heavy, your mind restless, your spirit quietly asking, God, where are you in all this? But listen closely, because this isn't a coincidence. There are no accidents in the way heaven arranges moments like this. You were meant to pause, to breathe, to hear this whisper, a reminder from the one who has never stopped watching over you. Every ache in your chest, every question you never said out loud, every tear that slipped through the silence, none of it has been wasted. It's all part of a sacred invitation, a gentle call to draw nearer, to rediscover the peace that was never truly gone, only buried beneath the noise of life. Sometimes we think God only speaks in thunder, in miracles, in breakthroughs, in visible signs. But often his voice sounds more like this, a quiet stirring inside you, a soft thought saying, there's more for you than what you've been surviving. You might not realize it yet, but right now, you're standing in holy ground, the intersection between your pain and his purpose, the tension you feel, the waiting that tests your patience, the longing that never seems to fade. It's not punishment. It's preparation, because before peace comes understanding, and before healing comes surrender. God isn't distant. He hasn't turned his face away. In fact, his gaze has been fixed on you longer than you could ever imagine. He knows the weight you've been carrying, the burden that no one else sees, the nights when you pretended you were fine, the mornings when you forced a smile while your heart was breaking quietly inside. He saw it all, and he never left. He's whispering to you even now, you are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are exactly where I need you to be. Every delay has meaning. Every silence has strategy. Every detour, every disappointment, every unanswered prayer has been shaping something inside you, something only divine timing could create. Think about it. If every door opened easily, would you still learn to trust? If every plan succeeded instantly, would you still seek his voice? Sometimes it's in the waiting that God becomes real to us, not as an idea, not as a distant power, but as a presence. Right here, breathing peace into the middle of your storm. So, take a deep breath. Feel your chest rise. Feel your heartbeat steady under your hand. That heartbeat is proof that you are seen, known, and chosen. You don't have to have all the answers right now. You don't have to fix yourself, impress anyone, or prove your worth. God is not waiting for perfection. He's waiting for your openness. Let go of the thought that you've missed your chance. You haven't, because in this still moment, right here, right now, something sacred is unfolding. You are being reminded that your story isn't random. It's written with intention. Maybe you don't see the full picture yet, but faith was never about seeing. It's about trusting the author, and he's not done with you. So if you're listening to this feeling unsure or broken, hear this truth. You're not lost. You're being led. You're not delayed. You're being prepared. And you're not forgotten. You're deeply loved. Pause for a moment. Let that sink in. You are exactly where you need to be, and God is closer than your next breath. There's something I need you to know. You are not forgotten. You are not too far gone. You are not invisible to heaven, I know. There are moments when it feels like the world has moved on without you. When you scroll through the noise of other people's victories and wonder, did God skip over me? When you try so hard to be strong that your own heart begins to ache from pretending. But let me tell you this truth, the kind that doesn't fade. No soul ever slips through the hands of the one who created it. You were seen before you were noticed by anyone else. You were loved before you ever achieved anything worthy of applause. Your worth was never built on recognition. It was spoken into existence the moment God breathed life into you. You may have been overlooked by people, but never by your Creator. Even now his eyes are fixed on you, not watching for your failures, but cherishing your existence. Pause for a moment. Take a slow breath in. Let it fill your chest. And feel it. The warmth, the movement, the undeniable proof that you are still alive, still chosen, still loved. You see, healing doesn't always arrive in lightning bolts or sudden miracles. Sometimes it's hidden inside the ordinary, the morning light touching your face, the kindness of a stranger, the quiet whisper reminding you you matter. God's love doesn't rush. It waits. It surrounds. It heals in layers, gently peeling away the lies that have chained your soul. Maybe you've believed for too long that your value depends on what you can produce, on how perfectly you perform, on how well you hold yourself together. But that's not how heaven measures worth. To God, your tears are treasures, your silence is sacred, and your small trembling prayers are as beautiful as songs. You don't have to earn his attention, you already have it. You don't have to fix yourself before coming to him. He delights in meeting you exactly where you are. Maybe you've been taught to push through, to hide your exhaustion, to stay strong no matter what. But what if strength isn't holding on tighter? What if real strength is finally letting go? Let go of the need to prove your worth. Let go of the guilt that keeps whispering you're not enough. Let go of the thought that you have to do everything right before you can rest. Because God isn't asking you to strive. He's inviting you to breathe, to lean back into his presence and feel the peace that doesn't depend on circumstances. Right now, he's not looking for perfection. He's reaching for your honesty, your openness, the part of you that still dares to hope even when it hurts. You are more than your mistakes. You are more than your past. You are the reflection of a love that has no expiration date. Close your eyes for a second. Can you sense it? The quiet hum of grace, surrounding you, holding you, reminding you that you've never been alone, not even in the moments you felt most lost. And maybe that's the point of this season. To rediscover that peace isn't something you chase. It's something you receive. To realize that your value was never tied to applause, achievement, or approval, but to the unshakable truth that God called you worthy long before the world ever spoke your name. So as you listen now, let every breath be a prayer. Let every exhale carry away the pressure you've placed on yourself. And let every heartbeat echo this divine promise: you are seen. You are loved. You are not forgotten, because the same hands that shaped the stars are the ones holding you together right now, and that is enough. There's a kind of tiredness that sleep can't fix. You know it. The kind that seeps into your bones where even breathing feels heavy. Maybe you've smiled for too long, while your heart quietly breaks inside. Maybe you've told everyone you're fine, when the truth is you're just trying to hold on one more day. If that's you, listen carefully, because the one who created your heart knows every crack in it. He sees the places you try to hide, the memories that still sting, the regrets that echo when the world grows quiet. He knows the battles you fight in silence, the guilt you carry, the words you wish you could take back, the tears you never let anyone see. And still, he calls you his beloved. You don't have to pretend to be strong in his presence. You don't have to hold yourself together before you pray. You don't have to earn the right to be heard. God listens, even to the words you never managed to say out loud, even to the sigh that slips out between sobs, even to the whisper that sounds more like, "God, I don't know how much longer I can do this." Every sound of your soul is sacred to him. He doesn't turn away when you're weak. That's when he draws closer, because his strength doesn't begin when you've done everything right. It begins exactly where your strength ends. Sometimes we think faith means standing tall and fearless, but maybe real faith looks more like collapsing into his arms and whispering, "I can't, but you can." You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to not have it all figured out. You are allowed to stop pretending you're okay. The world may tell you that weakness is failure, but heaven calls it invitation. An invitation to let God take over the weight you were never meant to carry alone. So, take a slow breath. Feel it rise in your chest. That breath is proof you're still here. Proof that grace is still holding you together. Right now, God isn't waiting for perfect words or perfect posture. He's waiting for your honesty. He delights in every imperfect prayer, every tear that falls mid-sentence. Because to him, those are the purest forms of worship. The ones that come not from performance but from truth. Maybe you've prayed and heard nothing. Maybe heaven has been quiet for too long. But silence doesn't mean absence. Sometimes silence is God's way of saying, "Rest, I'm working on what you can't see." Even when you feel unseen, you are noticed. Even when you feel unheard, you are held. And even when your faith trembles, he still calls it beautiful. If you're listening to this right now with tears in your eyes, know this. God is not disappointed in your weariness. He's not measuring your devotion by how loud your worship sounds. He's measuring it by the courage it takes to whisper his name when your soul feels empty. Let him meet you there. In the exhaustion, in the ache, in the middle of the mess. You don't have to climb your way back to him. He's already come all the way to you. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture him sitting beside you. No judgment, no rush. Just presence. The kind of love that doesn't demand anything. It simply stays. That's who he is. The God who sits with you in the dark until the dawn breaks again. The God who holds you when you have no words left. The God who listens to the sound of your breath and says, "That's enough for me, so tonight." Don't strive. Don't perform. Just rest. Let your heart be still long enough to remember you are seen. You are safe. And you are loved beyond your own understanding. And maybe that's all he wanted you to know today, that it's okay to be tired. It's okay to stop trying so hard. Because where your strength fades, his begins. There's something sacred about pain. Something we rarely recognize when we're in the middle of it. Because when life hurts, our first question is always why. Why did this happen? Why now? Why me? And often, heaven answers with silence. But what if that silence isn't absence? What if it's preparation? What if your pain isn't punishment, but the very ground where something new is being planted? You see, transformation rarely happens in comfort. It happens in the waiting, in the breaking, in those quiet nights when you feel forgotten but heaven is still writing your story. God never wastes suffering. Every tear, every unanswered prayer, every lonely hour becomes material in his hands. He weaves your heartbreak into strength, your loss into compassion, your confusion into clarity. It doesn't happen overnight. Growth is slow, like a seed hidden under soil, unseen, buried, forgotten, yet quietly alive. If you looked at that seed in the dark, you might think it's dead. But underground, something powerful is happening. Roots are forming, unseen, preparing for the moment when life breaks through the surface. That's what God is doing in you. Maybe right now you can't see the progress. Maybe everything feels still, too still. But stillness doesn't mean stagnation. Sometimes silence is the sound of God working deeply within you. He is strengthening what the storm once tried to destroy. He is rebuilding the foundation that will carry your future blessings. He is teaching your heart to stay soft. Even after it's been broken, it's in the waiting that faith becomes real. Because it's easy to believe when everything makes sense. But true faith, unshakable faith, is born in the in-between. When you keep trusting even without answers, think back for a moment. Remember the times you thought you wouldn't make it through, but somehow you did. Remember the nights that felt endless, and yet here you are. You made it. That's not an accident. That's evidence. Evidence that the same God who carried you then is carrying you now. Sometimes we think transformation looks like fire and thunder, like sudden breakthroughs and miracles. But more often it looks like this, small shifts inside the heart. You start to forgive where you once held bitterness. You start to breathe again after holding pain for too long. You begin to hope, even if it's fragile at first. That is transformation. That is resurrection. Pain teaches what ease never could. It builds endurance. It deepens empathy. It makes you gentle with others' wounds, because you've learned what bleeding feels like, and slowly you realize the things that broke you didn't destroy you. They remade you. You are becoming someone stronger, wiser, softer, all at once. That's the paradox of grace. It uses even the storm to reveal the sun. So if you find yourself in a season of waiting, in that quiet space where nothing seems to move, don't rush it, don't curse it, don't think it's meaningless, because this is holy ground and the workshop of transformation. God is shaping you into someone who can carry more light, more peace, more purpose than before. He's preparing you for what's next, and that requires depth. There's a reason the cocoon must come before the butterfly. There's a reason the soil must crack before new life appears. And there's a reason you're here, right now, listening to these words. It's because something in you is awakening. You may not feel ready, but you are being made ready. You may not see the change, but it's already begun. This is not the end. It's the quiet middle, the sacred pause before breakthrough. So take a deep breath. And if all you can pray is, God, keep working in me, that's enough. He hears, he moves. He never stops creating beauty from ashes. Your pain is not wasted. Your silence is not empty. Your waiting is not in vain. You are being transformed right now from in ways your eyes cannot yet see. And when the time comes, you'll look back and realize the breaking was never the end of you. It was the beginning of everything new. There are moments in life when you start to wonder if heaven still remembers your name. When the silence stretches too long, and your prayers feel like they've been lost somewhere between your lips and the sky. You've waited, hoped, believed, and yet nothing seems to move. But listen closely, because something is moving. Something you can't see yet. Within the next 72 hours, a word, a message, a gesture will come your way, and it will feel almost too specific to be random. It might come through a conversation, a phone call, or even a stranger's words that echo exactly what your heart has been crying out. When it happens, don't dismiss it. That will be your sign. Heaven's way of saying, I have not forgotten you. You see, God doesn't speak only through thunder and miracles. Sometimes he speaks through timing. Through those moments that line up so perfectly, you know it had to be divine. Maybe you've been walking through the kind of season where nothing makes sense. Doors that once opened are now closed. People who once stood beside you have drifted away. The plans you thought were secure have unraveled right in your hands, and you've asked him quietly, painfully, God, are you still here? Yes, he is. He's been closer than you think, not silent, but strategic. Because while you've been waiting for change to appear on the outside, he's been working on the inside, strengthening you, refining you, preparing you for a purpose you can't yet comprehend. Nothing, not even your pain, is wasted in his hands. Every disappointment you've faced has been shaping something within you that comfort never could. Resilience, wisdom, compassion, faith that can't be shaken by storms. You were never meant to stay broken. You were meant to rise. And right now, God is writing a new chapter that begins where you thought the story ended. Let me tell you something. You are not here by accident. You are not listening to these words by chance. You were chosen to stand through the storm so others could see what faith looks like in real life. Chosen to walk through fire and come out refined, not destroyed. Chosen to become a living testimony of what grace can do. You have been handpicked for a purpose greater than comfort. And yes, I know the process hurts. Transformation always does. But what if the pain you're feeling right now isn't punishment? It's preparation. What if God is not withholding from you, but building something through you? Sometimes what feels like delay is actually divine alignment. He's arranging people, places, and opportunities that must meet you at the right time, not just any time. And that's why he's saying, hold on a little longer. Don't give up before the breakthrough. Within these next 72 hours, something will shift, not just around you, but within you. Peace will start to replace the panic. Hope will begin to flicker again where despair once lived. And when that confirmation arrives, in whatever form it comes, You'll know deep in your spirit this was not coincidence. It's heaven's whisper saying, I see you. I have heard you. You are mine. Let that truth settle deep into your soul. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are loved with a love that doesn't waver when life does. Breathe that in. You've been asking for a sign, and this is it. Not just words on a screen, but a promise echoing through eternity. You are chosen. You are loved. You are destined for more. Every wound you've carried, every night you've cried yourself to sleep, none of it has been unseen. God has been collecting those moments, not as reminders of pain, but as blueprints for purpose. So when the confirmation comes, when that unexpected voice or message reaches you, and peace suddenly floods your heart, and pause and smile. Because that's your Father saying, see, I was here all along, and that is your cue to stand a little taller, breathe a little deeper, and keep walking forward. Because you are on sacred ground. Every step, every delay, every tear has been leading you right here to the beginning of your breakthrough. You are chosen. You are loved. And the promise is already in motion. There comes a moment in every journey when holding on hurts more than letting go. We try so hard to keep everything together, the plans, the people, the dreams, thinking that control will keep us safe. But what if it's the opposite? What if the safety you're searching for begins only after you release your grip? Because the truth is, you were never meant to carry it all. That weight on your shoulders, the worry about tomorrow, the guilt about yesterday, the pressure to fix what's broken, it's not yours to bear alone, and maybe that's why God brought you here to this very moment, to whisper gently, you can lay it down now. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting that something greater is already at work. Even when you can't see it, you see surrender isn't defeat. It's the moment heaven steps in. It's the sacred exchange. Your burden for his peace, your fear for his strength, your striving for his stillness. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how the ocean waves never cling to the shore? They rise, they fall, and they return again, trusting the rhythm set by their creator. That's what surrender looks like. It's not losing control. It's aligning yourself with divine flow. Maybe you've been trying to force doors open that were never meant for you. Maybe you've been holding on to pain because it feels safer than the unknown. But the moment you release it, even with trembling hands, something begins to shift. Because miracles don't move through clenched fists. They flow through open palms. Pause for a second. Take a slow, deep breath. Feel your chest rise and fall. That breath is a reminder. Life still moves even when you stop trying to control it. God is not asking you to be fearless. He's asking you to be honest. To admit that you're tired of carrying what was never meant to be yours. And in that moment of honesty, when you finally whisper, I can't do this alone, heaven smiles. Because that's where the real transformation begins. When you surrender, you make space. Space for peace to replace anxiety, for hope to replace doubt, for love to silence shame. The world may tell you that surrender is weakness, but the kingdom sees it differently. Surrender is power. It's faith in motion. The quiet courage to say, even if I don't understand, I will still trust you. And trust doesn't always feel certain. Sometimes it feels like stepping into darkness and believing there will be light when you move forward. But that's the kind of trust that opens doors no human hand could ever unlock. There's a peace waiting for you on the other side of surrender. The kind of peace that doesn't depend on circumstances, that doesn't rise and fall with outcomes. It's the peace that comes when your heart finally whispers, God, I release what I cannot control. You'll start to notice small shifts. The weight in your chest will feel lighter. The noise in your mind will quiet down, and the fear that once ruled you will lose its grip. That's what grace feels like. Not loud, not dramatic, just a quiet, steady presence saying, I've got you. So if you're listening right now, and you've been holding on too tightly, this is your invitation. Let go of the guilt. Let go of the pressure. Let go of trying to earn love that's already yours. Because the moment you release it, You make room for miracles. God cannot fill what's already full. But when your hands are open, when your heart is surrendered, that's when heaven begins to pour. He will take what you release and transform it into something beautiful. He will take the chaos you can't manage and turn it into calm. He will take the fear that kept you frozen and replace it with quiet, steady faith. That's what surrender really is, and not losing control, but choosing peace. Close your eyes for a moment. Breathe. Imagine setting your burdens down one by one, the regret, the anxiety, the need to understand. Now picture light taking their place, get a warm golden calm. That's his presence, wrapping around every place that once held fear. He's whispering to you even now. You are safe here. You don't have to hold it anymore, because the truth is, the miracle you've been waiting for doesn't start when you fight harder. It begins the moment you finally let go. There's a reason you're hearing this right now, because you're not just surviving, you're awakening. You may not realize it, but you are part of something far bigger than your own story. A quiet movement, a divine awakening, a gathering of hearts that have been broken, mended, and called back to life for one sacred purpose: to carry the light. You, yes, you, are one of those souls. God is raising a generation of awakened hearts, people who have walked through darkness and now understand compassion, not as an idea, but as a lifeline. People who know what it's like to lose everything and still choose love. People who have discovered that the greatest ministry isn't always a sermon or a stage. Sometimes it's simply showing kindness when the world grows cold. That's what this movement is about, the awakened ones. The ones who've been touched by grace and can't help but reflect it back. The ones who've learned that healing isn't just for them. It's meant to flow through them. Every scar you carry, every tear you've shed, every season of waiting, all of it has been shaping you into a vessel for healing. Because those who have known pain are the ones who can truly understand it in others. Your wound becomes your wisdom. Your struggle becomes your strength. And your healing becomes someone else's hope. Maybe you've wondered, why did I have to go through all that? Maybe you've looked back at the chaos and thought it was wasted time. But what if it wasn't? What if those were the very moments God used to soften your heart, to make you someone who could love deeper, see clearer, and forgive easier? This is what divine purpose looks like. Not always grand or loud, but steady, humble, radiant. It's found in the way you listen when someone needs to talk, in the patience you show when others lose their way, in the peace that follows you into a room without you saying a single word. That's the light. And the world needs it desperately. God is calling you to slow down, to stop rushing past the sacred that's hidden in the ordinary, to notice the way sunlight filters through your window in the morning, to hear the heartbeat of the world when you sit in silence, to recognize His presence, not just in church, not just in prayer, but in every quiet moment of your daily life, because He is there, in the laughter of your children, in the kindness of a stranger, in the breath you take right now. And when you become aware of that presence, your whole life becomes a prayer. That's what it means to be awakened, to live not from fear but from awareness, to walk not just for yourself, but as a beacon for others still finding their way home. You don't have to be perfect to carry the light, you just have to be willing. God doesn't choose the flawless, He chooses the available. And if you're listening to this, if your heart feels something stirring right now, that's not random. That's your call. He's saying, I'm not done with you. I've healed you so you can help heal others. I've restored you so you can remind them. Hope is still alive. You are not small. You are not insignificant. You are part of a divine plan that stretches far beyond what your eyes can see. So slow down, breathe, look around. There's holiness hidden everywhere. In the quiet, in the routine, in the love that keeps showing up even after disappointment. Let gratitude become your rhythm. Let compassion become your language. Let your life itself become the message, because every act of love, every gentle word, every patient moment sends ripples into eternity. And that is how light spreads, not through grand gestures, but through countless small ones. Done with great love, you are part of that light. You are part of this awakening. And even if you've doubted it, even if you felt unworthy, heaven has not changed its mind about you. You are chosen. You are sent. You are called to carry the light of love wherever you go. So walk forward, slowly, gratefully, courageously. And as you do, remember this truth. Every healed heart becomes a healer. Every awakened soul becomes a spark. And together, those sparks will set the world ablaze with grace. You've walked through storms, through nights that felt endless, through seasons that tested everything inside you. And yet, you're still here, still breathing, still standing. That alone is grace. Every tear you've cried, every fear that once held you captive, every failure that left a scar, none of it was wasted. God has seen it all. He has gathered each tear as if it were a precious gem, not a moment of weakness, but a seed of transformation. Because in His hands, nothing broken stays broken. He turns ashes into beauty. He turns endings into beginnings. And He turns pain into purpose. Maybe you haven't realized it yet, but the person you are now, and the one listening to this, is not the same person who started this journey. You've changed. You've grown. You've been refined. There's a quiet strength in you now, born not from easy days, but from the ones that almost broke you. And that strength is proof that God never left. Even when you couldn't feel Him, you might have thought His silence meant absence. But silence sometimes is sacred. It's the space where faith takes root, where trust is deepened, where love speaks without words. God's love doesn't always shout. Yours, sometimes it simply stays. It sits with you in the dark, holding your heart until you're ready to see the light again. That's how faithful He is. And now, the dawn is coming. Slowly, softly, but surely. You're stepping into a new chapter. Not because you forced it, not because you fought harder, but because you finally surrendered. That's the mystery of grace. Transformation doesn't begin when you strive. It begins when you release, when you stop trying to earn love and start realizing you already have it. When you let go of control and start trusting that every detail of your life is being woven together with divine intention. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are seen. Fully, deeply, eternally. The world may have overlooked you, but heaven never did. From the very beginning, you've been on His mind. Even in the moments you thought you were lost, He was guiding your steps. Not away from purpose, but toward it. Every delay, every detour, every heartbreak has been leading you here. To this moment of awakening, you were never abandoned. You are being prepared, and now God whispers to your heart, "Rest, my child, breathe, you are loved. You are safe. You are exactly where I want you to be. There's nothing more you have to prove. No race you have to win. No mask you have to wear. Just breathe. Let go of the fear that says you're behind. Let go of the shame that says you're not enough. Let go of the voice that says you failed, because in His eyes you've never been a failure. You've always been a masterpiece, still being painted, still being perfected, still being held. Take a deep breath and feel that peace that's been waiting for you all along. It's not found in answers. It's found in presence. In knowing that even when you can't see the way forward, the one who made the stars still guides your path. So rest, beloved soul. You've carried enough. Let grace carry you now. You are loved. Beyond reason, beyond measure, beyond time. You are kept in hands that never let go. And you are exactly where you need to be, in the heart of God's plan, right here, right now. So close your eyes. Inhale peace. Exhale fear, and hear His final whisper. Rest now. Breathe. My child, you are loved. You are held, and you are right where I want you to be. If this message spoke to your heart, share it with someone who needs it today, and subscribe for more messages from God.